Say morning.
Good morning. Bolski.
How is everyone?
Say good morning. Hello! Who's that? Hello!
Oh yeah, we're driving. Alright, we are in Market Harb. I bought myself some paint.
Thanks for the recommendation.
I'm going to cover the whole roof in it. And the deck and everything.
Can we drip it down the side to make it arty?
I just hope it actually dries. It should do. Because that'd be awkward if it don't.
Oh no, there's a charity man. Oh, sorry, I've only got change for parking.
So, we'll go for a little browse, get some brushes.
Oh, it's a woman.
Right folks, so I bought this paint. I was just going to leave the roof as is, but I've got this to do the decking and I'm just going to paint the whole roof with it. So it needs 2 coats. It's meant to be waterproofing stuff, so might as well give it an extra layer of protection. I'm just going to literally paint everything with it. All the seams, the lot. So bit boring, but oh well. Right, so this stuff's got bitumen in it. I'm going to start on the deck, work my way down there. Going on really well, this paint is. It's like thick, but not too thick. It's dead oily, that's obviously the bitumen. But apparently it dries. Well, it dries, so obviously some of these kind of paints you can get them and they almost stay like tacky, don't they? But this says it will be touch dry in 6 hours and then completely dry in 24 hours. It does say 2 coats, so I'll have to give the whole thing another coat probably tomorrow if the weather's alright. Yeah, it's going on really well. Already looks better than the other paint, just in terms of how it's going into the wood. Feels like it's going to stay on for a lot longer. So I'm going to smear the hell out of this roof hatch, try and stop it leaking. I should have done this in the first place really when I built the whole thing. Painted it with some good quality paint. I didn't think. You learn from your mistakes, don't you? I learnt by getting water in my dinner when the roof was leaking. I don't remember if I ever spoke properly about how I make the solar tilt. I know I've shown it before, but it's dead simple. This is everything I need, so I'm sure there's 1,000,001 ways that this can be done. Probably better ways, but I needed something filthy cheap and easy to do. So this takes me like a few minutes to put up and a couple of minutes to put down. So all it is just PVC tubing. Those 2 are for the big panel, those 2 are for the small one. They work slightly differently how they clip on, but that's the little panel, so it uses a strap and the 2 things, and the big panel uses the 2 poles and then just 4 little bolts. I'll show you how it goes together now. So we'll do the little panel first. There's just a small nut under here. I normally have one on each side, but just because I know I'm not going to be driving fast, I only put one on. So all you do, undo that nut and that lifts up. Now I've put tape on which side they go just because I cut them slightly differently, and that just sits. So you see there the original mounts there, and they screw into there, so I just put the nut underneath. So one on that side, one on that that side. And then all it is a strap. Put a hole in the top of the panel. So you just put that strap in there. And then I put a loop onto the side of here. So just loop that through like that. And then just do up the ratchet. Obviously you don't want to do it too tight because you'll end up snapping the panel. It's just enough so that the wind can't catch it. So all it has down here on the old mounts, I've got them ones cut at a slight angle. So they sit against the panel there. And at the bottom it's just got a little groove cut into it, and then that slots into there. There you go, that's it, that's in properly. And that's it. And it's been in some pretty high wind and not come off so far. Obviously these are fixed at an angle for winter sun, but when the summer comes around, all I need to do is have a second set of poles for each panel and cut them to length. I know I could have definitely come up with something more like adjustable or, you know, fancy setup, but I just couldn't be bothered, to be honest. And then literally just got a hinge on each side bolted to the original mounts, and that's it. Same with the big one. Them bits sticking up, I'm still yet to cut them off. It's just 3 hinges there. And then this one's slightly different how it works, I'll show you that. So this one, when it's in driving mode, is still bolted in with the original things that I used to do it. You just have to go along, pop these out. Obviously you want it to be as secure as you can, because the last thing you want when you're going down the motorway or whatever is one of these panels flying off. Or even when you parked, you know, high wind, it could easily rip one of these off if it's not secured down properly, 'cause it's like a giant sail, isn't it? And then you've got, what, 600 quid flying down the road, which you definitely don't want. And then what you do, your 4 bolts and the holes. That one's got, I'll show you properly in a minute how it sort of goes on here. Dead easy though, dead simple. They sort of clip like that. I'll screw them in because it's a bit windy. So I'll get them in first, and then I'll show you after. So I have a strap that I can use for this one as well if it's like high wind. I can also strap this one as well as the bolts just for extra support, but most of the time it don't need it. It's bloody solid just with these bolts. So all this one has is the little grooves cut into it like at an angle, and then I just drilled through so the bolt always fits perfectly, and then I just put a little nut on the back. Same with the bottom, cut it at an angle so it fits in there, and then just drilled the hole with the thing mounted so that the bolt always goes through. And I mean that's rock solid, that is. But yeah, that's it. Dead easy, dead simple. Probably cost me 15 quid all in with the hinges, and I just bought 2 pieces that's plumbing tubing, just like basic stuff, and just cut it out of that, cut them to length. Dead simple and well worth doing. As you saw on the videos, the difference when I did it compared to before is just ridiculous. So if you've got solar, you definitely need to have them tilting 100%. Even in the summer, it's worth it. So, right, that's the deck up, painted up. Now I just need to do this bit. Right, folks, painted the whole lot. Oh. There we go, looking fresh. Even painted these side bits. I've decided I really like this paint, so I'm going to paint everything. I'm going to redo all the windows. I mean, this would be the perfect paint to do the chassis with. The problem is, it's so bloody rusty. It took me ages to get all the rust off. That's what I should have used in the first place. I used a paint called POR 15. It's bloody expensive, and it just ain't. It's gone rusty again. Like I originally, when I did the build, I went across the whole chassis with a bloody STS drill and a chisel on it, so I knocked all of the bad rust off, like the big flaky bits, and then I put rust treatment on it and then POR 15 over the top, and it's gone how it's gone now. And I mean, you've seen underneath. I wish I'd used this blue paint in the first place. This stuff looks brilliant because it's like really oily while it's going on. It feels oily, but it is starting to dry a bit in places, and it's not sticky. Kind of regret not using that, to be honest, but oh well. Right, I'm gonna paint some more shit. Folks, how you all doing? It is the next day. Had a bit of a paint-a-thon last night. I'll show you how it looks. It's turned out pretty good. Very good, actually. There you go. Painted the whole lot. Even all these side bits. It's sort of, it's not gloss, it's like a satin. Like a shiny satin, but not quite full gloss. I really like it. I really like how it's turned out, and it's dry. It's not sticky there. It's still a bit tacky in places because I laid it on very thick, like around all the joints and stuff. Laid it on really thick. So I'm not going to do 2 coats on the whole roof. I've just done 2 coats around the problem areas. So like around the hatch, that's all 2 coated in there. And like down all the seams and, you know, the bits where it's likely to hold water, basically. I've done 2 coats. I don't see the value of 2 coating the whole sheet metal because it's gone on really thick anyway. So not really much point. I'm not hardly used any paint though. It's a 5 litre can. It's only 20 quid. It's this stuff. It was recommended by Jason. We were chatting and he recommended it to me. So I got it from Screwfix, about 20 quid ish. Problem is now, I've gone over a few bits. I've gone over this window. See on the frame, give that a refresh. And also I've gone over this bumper here, or the rear step, painted all of that. And all inside here, all around the back doors where I hadn't done before properly. And you know what? Went over this window as well. That was looking a bit tired. But I kind of decided now that I like it so much, I might just do the whole lot. Like all the plastic work. Because I've painted this anyway. It's painted satin black, but it's sort of faded a bit. And it's almost gone like a grey now. So I'm kind of tempted just to paint the whole flipping thing in this. And so do them, do the bumpers, Do the wheels as well, because I painted these originally with that POR 15 and it's just all gone faded and rubbish. But I might, to be honest, I might even paint the chassis. It's a hell of a job, but I think it'd be worth doing. If I give it a jet wash under there, get all the salt off, and then go over it with some rust treatment. Obviously this kind of stuff is just gone, look at that. But that's not structural, that's just body work. It's fucked, look at it. But the actual chassis ain't too bad. You see where I did a repair before, this whole middle panel here and the centre beam there, that's all new. I did another one at the front as well. To be honest, I think I'm going to do it because it'll make the van last longer. If I give it a good jet wash to get rid of all of this. This is all like salt crap from in the mountains. Get a jet wash, and then I got some rust neutralizer stuff, so if I stick that on it, I'll just do the chassis rails and all the components. Like I'll do the axle and the diff here, do all of that. I might even give the suspension another coat. I did paint this originally when I put it on, and that's lasted pretty well. I think I gave that about 5 coats. I changed, oh yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned before, I changed these springs out. So these are double leafs now. Normally they're single. So that's why my van, even though it's very loaded up, it still sits nice and high on the back wheels, because you see a lot of these where they're sagging down at the back. So I swapped the springs out, and that's worked pretty well. It weren't that expensive. I think it was about 250 quid or something for the pair, from a manufacturer in Birmingham. Can't remember the exact name of them, but I can find out if anyone's interested. Yeah, I think, seeing as I'm here and I'm not going anywhere at the minute, you know, because obviously we're waiting sort of. Well, I was waiting to see what's happening with this Brexit shit, because obviously I don't think anyone really knows what's happening with that at the minute. And then I was going to go after that, obviously once I know what paperwork I need and if we need visas or any of that rubbish. So while I'm here, it probably makes sense to give that a going over, wouldn't it? And I wish, like, ideal circumstance, I wish I could take the entire body off, just have the bare chassis and restore it properly, but realistically that's never going to happen. Need one hell of a crane to do that, wouldn't you? I might do it, you know. I think it'd be worth doing. I'll give it a good jet wash now. Jet wash all underneath and weigh it up. Right, there we go. Give it a good jet wash all underneath as well. So I'll have to give it a bit to dry. That's annoying me. I mean, it's not horrendous, but it will get horrendous if I don't do something about it. So probably give that at least, you know, a few hours to dry off. I might start painting this bodywork though. You can see here, this is what it's meant to look like. See the hatch for that? That's how the bumpers are meant to look. Obviously it's a different material, but on these it's gone sort of faded and crap. So I might just give it a refresh. Seeing as I've got a shitload of this paint, I might as well whack a bit on, see what it looks like. Check this out, definitely looking better. So there's the before and the after. This looks a bit more finished, I think. Alright folks, there we go. All sorted. How good does that look? Done the wheels, done all the plastics. All looking fresh and new again. Awesome, happy with that. And it's waterproof in paint, so hopefully it should act almost like a barrier on those plastics. So it'll just be a case of jet washing it off and all the crap won't like soak into the plastic anymore. Hopefully. Alright, so what I've got, folks, is this stuff, which is called rust converter. So it's supposed to like neutralise the rust and stop it coming back. That's the idea anyway. So the plan is I'm going to hit it with this underneath first, let this dry overnight, and then I'll give it a coat of that paint maybe tomorrow. Yeah, Marie's just come back. You like?
I do like, yeah. Yeah, it looks much better. I thought you said you were going to jet wash it before you did.
I did just the bottom there.
Oh, okay.
I jet washed halfway up the side, but forgot the back doors.
Because it's all dry, lol. I didn't know.
It's good, isn't it? I do this, innit?
You've been sleeping.
It's hilarious. Everything's wet, so just careful.
Okay, calm down. Hello, Bibble. Hello. Lick my hair, go on, go on. Wait, what's wet? Oh, down here as well.
Just all the shiny black.
Baby, you've been working hard with your dad.
Been working hard, ain't you?
You've been sleeping. That's all you sleeping. You little pig.
Right, I'm just going to start underneath.
Underneath, you can do
I've jet
it?
washed it all.
Ooh.
Going to put the rust shit on and then paint it tomorrow maybe. I like.
Rust shit on? What do you mean?
I've got some stuff that neutralises rust.
I thought I already had it in the paint.
No, you put this one on first.
And then paint it.
Yeah. So this is how it looks now after I've sort of jet washed all the crap off. You can see inside the rails where some of the paint's still there from when I did it originally. But yeah, I can put some of this stuff on now. Alright, so that's one of the rails done. So this is, if you don't know what this is one of the main reasons to buy an Iveco in the first place. So you see how you've got these two rails here. These start at the back and go all the way down to the front of the van, if you can see. So this is called the chassis. Now this is different to most vans. This is more like a lorry. So this chassis, which is these bits, is separate to the body, which is this. The body just sits on top of this chassis, and all of the main components are all bolted to the chassis, and then the body just sits on top. So there's a lot of plus sides to that. That's one of the main reasons for buying one of these vans, is that obviously where the body's all gone rotten here isn't really a problem in terms of MOTs and stuff, because it's not structural. None of this is structural. Even this stuff doesn't count as structural. So you could put your foot through the floor and it'd still pass an MOT. But as long as these bits are okay, then it's all fine. So that's why you have to look after the chassis, which I clearly haven't done very well. But it was pretty shagged when I got it, to be fair. So, but yeah, so on other vans, so this is a, I think it's called a ladder chassis or something. On a normal van, all of these components are this is the chassis. The actual body of the van is the chassis, and everything's bolted to the body. So all of the suspension components, the wheels, all the driveline, everything is all bolted into this. It's all structural. So when bits start to go, that's when you start failing your MOTs. and when it becomes dangerous obviously to drive, because you lose the structure of the van. So if you didn't know, now you know. That's why Ivecos are awesome. Alright folks, it's been a long ass day, but made progress. I've managed to paint the whole chassis, pretty much what I can get to anyway, with the rust neutraliser stuff. So you see, I don't know if you can really tell, but there you go. So all the rails right down to the engine, both sides, most of the crossbars, all that lot, all done. So, knackered ain't the word. But that's sorted. So tomorrow I can paint it with that lovely paint. I do actually have some wax oil. I've got a couple of cans of that, but I think once I put that paint on, because that's got bitumen in it anyway, that should be enough as it is. But I might paint it with that tomorrow, obviously leave it, and once that's all dried off I might even put some of that wax oil on the bad areas, just as like a third measure, because you know I want this van to obviously last as long as it can. Like, it's a bit shagged, the chassis is, but it's still solid, and as long as I keep on top of it, it should last, you know, a good few years to come. But obviously if I leave it, like, it's probably going to end up snapping off or something at this rate. I mean, look at this. I don't know why it's got expanding foam, but like, it's just gone. All of this stuff looks completely gone. So I don't know. I'm not sure what to do about that exactly. All that is just these sides anyway. So maybe one day I'll just rip the whole lot off, cut them all off, and build something new. Because they don't really do anything, do they? So I've had to take off so much rust from the chassis, because obviously the paint lifts up. A lovely demonstration here with this glove. So if say the patio is the chassis and this is the original paint, so this starts to come up a bit, and obviously the water gets in, rusts it, and you get these like flakes. So if you've got on here, you can see it all under the van, look, all what's come off. So let's say this piece for example here, you get all of this, but you can't see that it's there. So what you have to do is go along the chassis with the hammer, just tapping it like this, and then all these pieces come away. And you see that's just pure rust in there. But if you paint over the top of that, like, that's nothing. That's got no, you know, it's flaked away, so it's got no structure left to it. It's not offering anything, and if you paint over it, it's not curing the problem. It's just putting not even a plaster, because that'll just fall off and then you got bare metal again. So you just got to work your way along, tapping all the crap bits off, then hit it with the paint. That's the best way to do it. I'll have a sweep up in a minute. I'll show you just how much rust has fell off. Always helping, isn't it? There you go, look. I sort of managed to get off some of these bits. That's what I was saying. But if you leave them on, you might as well just not even bother fixing it. No matter what you buy, anything you buy in life, any kind of vehicle, it's just going to get rusty. It's just a fact. And the ones that last the longest are the ones that people look after. It's such a weird thing, isn't it, rust is? It's like the cancer of motor vehicles. Just got to keep on top of it. I'll show you inside in a minute a couple of the jobs that I did yesterday or the day before. Yeah, so I was just going to show you some of the bits that I've done. Not much, but you know, just keeping busy, trying to keep the old mind busy. It's easy to slip into a shit mood. I don't particularly want to be here, so yeah. So remember that work to put in. So I've routed the edge off so it looks a bit better and stained it so it sort of blends in a bit more now, matches the normal table and all my other wood. I've also changed this cupboard a little bit and put storage in there for the laptops now. Obviously Marie's in there and mine sits above it there because we were forever moving the bloody laptops around every night from the bed to the, it's just a piss take. So that's one of them jobs that needed doing for a long time. And then the other thing I've done, which I think is pretty cool, is got some organisation for my chargers. Because obviously doing what I do takes quite a bit of batteries. And forever needing to charge things up. So now that they're all on the wall, it's just easier because at the end of the day or whenever, just stick my battery in and then that's it, charging. Got my 2 cameras, the GoPro batteries, and that's for Marie's camera. Just makes life a little bit easier, doesn't it? But yeah, other than that, that's about it. This chassis thing's been, and all the painting's been taking up a lot of my time, so I've not been able to do much else. But we'll carry on tomorrow. Probably going to do the coat of paint on the chassis first thing tomorrow. And then the next job I need to do is a bit of work with this. You know how I've left that? No, I can't still. That's just wood underneath. I can't do anything with it. Obviously this side lifts, but I need to make that side. I'm going to do like a cutout that lifts out, and then we'll put all the winter gear stored in there, and a few other bits because it's kind of a waste of space at the minute. So yeah, that's the plan for the next couple of days anyway, so shall see you all in the next video.